The Chicago Bears have had a classic and iconic look for so long that it's hard to remember a time when they didn't look like this. But a lot of fans don't know that the team started out with red and brown uniforms and then made a ton of small changes over the years to get to the uniform you see now. Today, the team is at a crossroads with what looks like a new stadium in the burbs. Teams like the Rams, Chargers, Falcons, and Vikings all got new stadiums and new looks around the same time they got that stadium. But those teams needed updated looks. The Raiders, 49ers, and Cowboys kept their classic uniforms with their new stadiums. I don't think the Bears should or are gonna change their uniforms, but this is something that comes up when you invest billions of dollars into something, so there is a possibility. I do think the Bears could benefit from new alternate uniforms or to some tweaks to their home and away sets. And I think the best way to see what a team will do in the future is to examine their past. So let's take a look at Chicago Bears uniforms, past, present, and then possibly future. Before we get going, please subscribe for more uniform video content, movie reviews, and the occasional animation. Basically whatever I feel like doing in my spare time as a video producer. Also, let me know in the comments what your favorite Chicago Bears look of all time is, and what your favorite future look that I designed is. Special thanks to Gridiron Uniform Database, an awesome site if you're into uniform stuff, and to Noah Kwesi for his awesome uniform templates. The franchise started out in 1920 in Decatur, Illinois, and like most teams at the time, they were just named after a company. The Decatur Staleys colors were red and brown, with red jerseys that had brown stripes of fabric sewn onto them to help players hold onto the ball. I could see why they didn't think of the forward pass yet with this giant bulbous thing. The guy in this photo is the Papa Bear himself, George Halas, who went from player to owner and coach. And he was kind of good at it. In 1921, the team moved to Chicago and kept their look, but changed their name. They played at Wrigley Field, where the Chicago Cubs played, so coming up with the name was pretty simple. George Halas said, "If those guys are Cubs, then we're Bears." In 1923, Halas decided to change the team colors to something closer to his college alma mater, the University of Illinois. So he goes with a dark navy and deep orange. The 1930s is when the Bears really started to experiment with their uniforms to see what they liked. In 1931, the Bears decided to add a helmet design, and they go with a pretty popular one at the time, 3 stripes running down the helmet. The next year, in 1932, the Bears ditched their leather stripes, possibly because the shape of the ball had changed so much, and went with a white jersey with block numbers and 3 stripes on their sleeves. These stripes will be a part of the Chicago Bears look from here on out. A couple years later, in 1934, the Bears took advantage of advancements in pants technology and went from canvas to navy blue. 1936, the Bears were missing how stripy their uniforms used to be, so they unveiled this look. People at the time described them to be in bad taste and, quote, too loud. We gotta see what these would look like on modern players with these throwbacks introduced in 2020. This look didn't last very long, and the Bears quickly changed to orange jerseys, blue numbers, and blue pants. By 1940, the Bears had removed the stripes from their helmets and were mostly wearing white jerseys with navy pants and orange alternate jerseys. They also added a stripe to their pants for the very first time. The next year, in 1941, is where we really start to see the Bears uniform take shape. They went with white pants, navy jerseys, orange block numbers, and 3 orange stripes on the sleeves. This throwback is a look that many fans got to see later and are referred to as the Monsters of the Midway throwback. Fans also kinda got to see their 1940s orange alternates on Thanksgiving in 2004, but it's not an accurate throwback, and with the white C on the helmets, it's not era appropriate, so I don't know if I'd count these. Also, I doubt anybody watched this game past halftime.
The second of the day by R.W. McQuarters. And McQuarters with another big return. He already has 1 touchdown inside the 30 and still going, lost the football.
2 seconds later.
It's back with Dallas, and they will start with a first down.
In 1950, the big change to the Bears uniform was moving on from their block numbers and switching over to their rounded numbers that they still wear today. They also changed the numbers to white with an orange outline. In 1955, the Bears added a face mask to their look, and it was gray because all face masks were gray. In 1956, they put numbers on their sleeves because the NFL wanted teams to have numbers that people could see on the side when they were watching the game on TV. They're still called TV numbers to this day. In 1957, the NFL decided to make uniforms more standardized, so it'd be easier for fans watching on black and white TVs. So every team had to have a white away uniform and a color home uniform. We're already getting pretty close to what the Bears currently wear with this 1957 look. In 1962, the Bears added a logo to their helmet for the very first time. It was an all-white wishbone C for Chicago. It wasn't until the 70s that the Bears would see any more uniform changes. In 1970, they added players' names to the back of the jerseys, and then in 1973, they changed the white C to an orange C with white outlines. In 1982, the Bears ditched the gray face mask and went with navy blue. Then, in 1983, George Halas passed away, and the team honored him with a patch on their chest with his initials. The next year, the Bears would make this a permanent part of their uniform by moving his initials to their sleeve. No major changes happened throughout the rest of the 80s or 90s, except for changing up their away look with navy pants or white pants, something they have done previously and have done on and off since. In 2002, the Bears wore navy pants with their navy jerseys for the first time. They still randomly wear this look to this day. In 2005, the Bears brought back their orange alternate and have worn it on and off since. The last big changes to the Bears uniform happened in 2012. Reebok's uniform contract had run out with the NFL, and the NFL decided to go with Nike for the very specific reason of they gave us the most money. At this point, the Bears hadn't had any uniform changes for almost 30 years, and it was kind of starting to show. With modern NFL uniform cuts, the Bears' TV numbers took up most of the space on their sleeves, and the stripes had no room. So the Bears decided to use this template change as an opportunity for a uniform tweak. They gave the stripes the full shoulder cap and moved the TV numbers to the shoulders, a much more clean and balanced look. In 2022, the year I'm making this video, the Bears added an orange alternate helmet to go with their orange uniforms, something that seemed pretty rushed due to the NFL changing their helmet rules. So, that is the very basic uniform history of the Chicago Bears up to this point. But what about the future? So, where do the Bears go from here? The fan base seems pretty happy with their current home and away look, so I wouldn't want to change too much about it. But if there's one thing the Bears' history shows us, it's that the team isn't afraid to make slight tweaks or try different things with alternate looks. So let's take a look at what the Chicago Bears uniforms could look like if they decided to make a few tweaks and took some big swings with alternate uniforms. Let's start out with some tweaks. If I could make some minor tweaks for the future, I would make the wishbone C slightly larger on the helmet. Not too much, just a little bit of a bump up. I would also then replace their navy face mask with the original gray. Their standard set is just such an old school look, I would really love for the Bears to lean into it a little bit more with a gray face mask. The last slight tweak that maybe I would like to see going forward is the George Halas initials moved away from the sleeve to clean it up a little bit, and move it to a chest patch. Here's something that I made up using an old Bears logo. It's very similar to what they originally used when George Halas first passed away. I really like this old school logo and think it goes really well with their wishbone C and current uniform. I also wouldn't mind a simple vector art style logo of George himself if they decided to move away from the initials. So besides those little tweaks, I don't think the Bears should or will change their current look. But the Bears will have to change alternates at some point. As fans, we've seen every throwback the Bears have to offer, and their current orange alternate really leaves a lot to be desired. I would like to see them try something really out there to see what fans would like. I was able to come up with some designs for new alternate Bears uniforms that I would love to see the Bears try. The first alternate I would really like to show completely changes the Bears' color scheme. But if there's one thing I know about Chicagoans, it's that we love our city flag. A really simple but beautiful flag that you see everywhere in the city. So I took the colors of the flag and made this alternate look. It's also a little tribute to the Houston Oilers, who had amazing uniforms. And because the Titans refused to use these colors properly, I think the Bears should swoop in and use them. For the helmet, the Bears would have a couple of options. They can go with a white and red version of the wishbone C with the Chicago star in the middle, but they might want to stay away from red on the wishbone C to avoid Cincinnati Reds confusion. So I decided to go with a red and white bear head logo. I think it works nicely here. I've kept the same number font to still give them that Bears look. I then wanted to see what a uniform that just focuses on the flag would look like, and I came up with this. We have big red Chicago stars on either side of the helmet with 2 blue stripes running down the middle. The stars on the helmet and the shoulder pads are a little nod to the Cowboys throwback, but here, with the 2 stars on the shoulders and 1 on each side of the helmet, it matches the 4 stars on the Chicago flag. The blue stripes that represent the Chicago River and Lake Michigan are also here and go across the full jersey. We then have the Chicago skyline on the sleeves to make it even more Chicago because we just love slapping our skyline on stuff. For the socks, I went with a white cutout of the flag, and on the chest, I have a red and white bear head because there is no Bears logo anywhere else on this. The look is pretty busy, so they could go with a more simplified helmet too. How about something that invokes Cloudgate, or what Chicagoans affectionately call the bean? I think a fully reflective chrome helmet would be really awesome to see. A bunch of college teams have tried this chrome look, and I think it looks really sharp for alternates. Now, a Chicago flag uniform is something that fans have been excited to see for a while, and I'm like the 1,000th person to do this style. So obviously the demand is there, but I wanted to try a city edition that I haven't seen. So I decided to try out one with the Municipal Y logo. This is something a little less known around the city, but if you look, you can see it everywhere. Here it is, hidden in plain sight on the Chicago Theater sign. It represents the north, south, and main branches of the Chicago River. Here I used it mostly on a red uniform to keep the logo blue because my other designs were mostly blue focused. I've used the original version here that has more of a hand-drawn look and took that design in the middle and made it stripes for the uniform. I think it's an interesting logo that might look good here or maybe incorporated into another alternate city version. Okay, enough city uniforms and back to the navy and orange look. This design I call the Monsters of the Midway. This is the uniform that I've created that is furthest from their current style. The Bears' current uniforms are so clean and structured, I wanted to play with more of a hand-drawn look. My favorite part of this is the bear head on the helmet. It's an oversized logo, so it'll allow the smaller details to be seen from afar, and the white base shell really allows for that blue and orange bear to pop. You'll also notice the claw marks for stripes on this. It's a look that a lot of animal teams like to use, and I think it looks great here. I love the look even more with this white away jersey that allows different colored stripes that mimic their current stripes. The number font is also completely different than anything they've ever done, and I really like how organic but yet structured the whole uniform is. The problem with fonts like this is that some numbers look better than others for uniforms. Maybe this whole look would be better with a more simplified bear, or possibly bear fur texture with the numbers, but if you're the kind of fan that wants something different, then this might be the look that you enjoy the most. Next up, faux backs. Like I said before, if you're a Bears fan, you've basically seen every single throwback possible, but the Bears have a few unused older logos that I think they can incorporate into a fake throwback, aka a faux back. Here, I used the Bearhead football logo before for the George Halas patch, so you could tell I really like it. I decided to take the head off this bear and put it on the helmet. I was then inspired by the Bears' B script logo that the team uses sometimes. Scripting word marks are pretty common for the team, and every Bears fan knows that hat from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. So I came up with this look to match it. Orange pants with navy uniforms and oversized scripted numbers. The names on the back would also be scripted. For the name font here, I actually went to the old Chicago Bulls uniform font. My favorite part of this look is the bear head. I would love to see the team rock this helmet with their current look for a change of pace too. Next up, I wanted to revisit a throwback that the Bears only brought back for a year, the stripy uniforms. Fans either love or hate this look, but I think we could update it a little more to be accurate. Here's a photo of what those uniforms are supposed to represent. It doesn't really match. So I decided to go with this. Just stripes on the front with a number patch on the chest. The pants also have a textured look to match the canvas pants the teams used to wear. Then there's the helmet, a faux leather helmet that could be made with leather-looking vinyl wrap, or in the perfect world, these helmets would be covered in a thin layer of leather. How awesome would it be to look at as this game went on with scratches on the leather helmet wearing it down? For the back, I went with a blue and then orange outline around the numbers to invoke that stripiness on the front. I also took the striped socks from the Bears' current throwback look and incorporated them here. I think the Bears should just own that they're the super stripy team. For the last future looks, I would like to focus on color swaps. Right now, the Bears' alternate uniform is a lazy color swap, but if you've been paying attention, they historically loved color swaps. For their current alternate uniform, the navy doesn't really work well as an accent color because the orange really overpowers it. And here's my idea to fix it. To celebrate the orange, I've made it the only color on the uniform and completely removed any navy. For the helmet logo, we got a few options. We can go with a white helmet and just an orange wishbone C to keep things simple, or we could try something a little bit more crazy because this is such a minimalized look. It is a busy helmet, but the rest of the look is so clean, it might work. You could also go with an orange helmet and a white oversized bear, or maybe bring in that chrome helmet from earlier. Lots of options. On the flip side, I wanted to see what a Bears uniform would look like with no white. So I took the old Monsters of the Midway throwback that doesn't have any white and designed a uniform around that. Here we have a navy helmet with an orange wishbone C and no outline. We then have orange pants instead of the standard white. I think this look could also be flipped with an orange jersey and navy pants if we're really going for that 50-50 look. The whole thing could also be all navy. This might be a good style for a night game, or if you're a fan that really likes the orange, then why not go all out with an all orange? It's pretty garish, but this might be good for a color rush style game, maybe against the Packers and their all green throwbacks. So there you have it, an abbreviated history of the Chicago Bears uniforms and some possible future designs. Thanks so much for watching. What was your favorite Bears uniform? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, then please subscribe. Click on that notification bell, give me the like, leave the comment. You guys know, you know what you're doing. Laters.